Catches, puts up a three. One go. Rebound box.
Now head over in this direction. Gone to three.
Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. The impossible has happened.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
Anthony for three. Puts it in. Bridges. Oh my God. Oh, what? Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection. Curry way downtown. Bang! Bang!
And we are back better than ever. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Camp's Corner. Today we got a very, very special guest who's near and dear to my heart, and I'm very blessed that I was able to even get him on the show. He's currently one of the assistant coaches for the Boston Celtics, who's had an incredible long journey to get to where he is now. A 3-time champion at Hendricken, Gatorade Player of the Year, a star at West Virginia, now pursuing his dream in coaching. Guys, give it up for Joe Mazzulla. How you doing, man? How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very appreciative that you could join me here today. So let's get right into it.
Cool.
Starting off, playing at Hendricken, winning 3 state championships, Gatorade Player of the Year. Where did you know exactly where you wanted to go to school? Like after all this offers, what kind of offers were you getting at the time?
I was getting like mostly mid-major offers. At the time, West Virginia was on a hot streak as far as Coach Beeline building their culture and their success, going to the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16, like the 2 years before I got there. So, it was just kind of a perfect match. It was, I thought Beeline was still do. He was a great coach. And at the same time, I wanted to be a part of something that was growing and be successful. So worked out and spent my 5 years at West Virginia.
That's awesome. Right into your sophomore year, you suffered a brutal shoulder injury. How was that recovering process? Did you think that your college career was going to be over, or did you think the process was going to be quick and, easy to come back from?
Yeah, didn't really know what it was at first.
Right.
So we just kind of took it week by week. I know, Coach Huggins was very patient and supportive, and our training staff at West Virginia was like tremendous through the whole process. But, as we realized what it was just a matter of how I was going to handle it. And fortunate enough, the training staff, worked day and night to find the best treatment possible to just kind of relieve some of the pain and to give it an opportunity. So I didn't necessarily think it was over, but it was just a matter of figuring out the best plan of attack about how, I was still going to be able to be, successful and efficient on the court. So, really all the credit goes to the training staff that was able to put together the best possible plan and find the best treatment.
After that, did it kind of restrict you from your play, or was it, obviously a slow process, like I said, to get back to full speed?
Yeah, it was a little restrictive, just, not being able to raise my left arm over my head. So everything just kind of had to be below that 90 degrees. And so it was a little restrictive in the weight room. It was restrictive on the court. I wasn't able to shoot anyway, so that wasn't really much of an issue. But, as the, treatment increased and as we started to really understand what it was, it became a little bit easier to manage. And then, fortunately, it just kind of healed over time, which, I'm grateful for.
Like I said, I wasn't old enough to, see you really play in your college days. Like I wish I would. I know my dad's been following you for, a while now too. Playing in the Final Four, what was the hype like going into the arena and just experiencing like being in a Final Four?
Yeah, it was great, but I think it was also like a little overwhelming. I always tell people like by the time I got to the game, it was at 9:00 at night on a Saturday, I believe. By the time I got to the game, I was almost tired. Just
really?
The week of media, the week of hype, the week of preparation. Like there's so much that goes into going to a Final Four. And, now that I'm on the coaching side of it, I kind of feel like Duke had a little bit of an advantage. Obviously they were a great team, but they had an advantage over us because they'd been there before. And they probably knew how to handle, every day after practice, it was media. We're shooting like these, not commercials, but like these pregame or in-game videos and stuff. And so by the time the game come, I felt exhausted almost. So there's definitely something there about you got to prepare for the game, but you also have to prepare for the week as to, the attention that comes with it, the media that comes with it.
So like when you guys knew you were going to be in the Final Four after that, how long was until you guys actually played? Like you said, like the media and all that kind of stuff. So was that you had like a week to prepare for the game, and like
I
that's
think
when
we
the
won on
media came
Sunday
in?
night. I think we beat Kentucky Sunday night in Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
We flew back to West Virginia Sunday night, and then I believe we left like Tuesday for Indianapolis. So we had, just media all day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, leading up into it. Just, plus the obvious pressure and the expectation of planning for a great team. And so, there's a lot that goes into it. And, if I had a chance to go back, I would have just
Yeah.
learned how to manage, just your emotional and your mental energy better than I did. But it was still like an unbelievable experience. Like,
Yeah, looked it. Yeah.
The venue's so big, it seemed like you're playing outside.
Yeah.
35,000 people there. And but it was still it was an unbelievable experience.
So yeah, while we're still on the topic of your playing career, do you have any memories, any stories of like pro players now that you played against or maybe even played with? Like, do you have any input or stories on that?
Yeah, I mean, just obviously I was fortunate enough to work with Kemba.
Right.
A great person, just a great human being, and it was cool. At the time I came to the Celtics, I had played against Kemba Walker, I had played against Brad Wanamaker.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the same Final Four as Gordon Hayward. And
Wow.
so, like, it was just crazy how, things work out. And so it was cool going back and forth, just talking about our college days and whether we played against each other or played, the same teams. That was fun. And, obviously Brad Wanamaker going to Pitt. We had a great rivalry, for the 2-3 years we were in college together. So that was a cool experience, just kind of, reliving some of those days.
So like in practice, would you talk with not talk with Kemba, but would you coach like with him, or like do you have like a set amount of players that you coach in practice? Or
No, you just kind of, a little bit of everybody. Everybody does a
Right.
little bit of everything, so it wasn't so much specific as that as it was just kind of, being there for the workouts, for the scouting and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool how they remember like all those kind of experiences, because I've been looking up your highlights, see kind of get a sense of, like I said, I wasn't able to experience those full games, but I saw pictures of you going up against like Steph Curry, and you guys played like Davidson. That was pretty cool. Like Kentucky, like John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins. It's kind of cool how to where to see where these guys at now and like where you're at now with the Celtics. So that must be like so eye-opening to you. But
yeah, it's just, the game of basketball just gives you so many opportunities.
Yeah.
So you gotta realize, like, when you're getting into basketball, it's not just about the sport itself; it's about the opportunities that it gives
culture.
you.
Yeah.
To be able to travel the world and like meet the people that we meet. Like, there's a lot that our family has been able to do just because of basketball, and that's the cool part to it. So you always try to give back and to the game and give back to the relationships, and usually they come back full circle. So a lot of the people that you meet when you're playing, or you're going to come back and meet them again. Like you said, the people, whether it was Kemba, Brad, Gordon, even Coach Stevens was the coach at Butler, and we were in the Final Four. So he was obviously paying attention to us a little bit in scouting. And, so many relationships that I've seen now that I've gotten into coaching have come back full circle. And that's kind of really what it's about.
It sounds like a true blessing. Like, that'd be so crazy for me. I mean, obviously, if I would have reached that, in my playing career, but in 2011, after you finished with West Virginia, you were undrafted. Right after the draft, did you you knew right away that you wanted to go right into coaching, or did you decide to like kind of train back and think, all right, I'm going to try to, give it another shot? Or where did you go from there?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, something that I now is more about your identity. So when I graduated, it was kind of like, I was an okay player. I could have played somewhere overseas. There's a lot of opportunity, but it was more of a short-term answer. And, so I tried it for like a couple months in training and waiting for a contract. I hired an agent. And, during that process, I kind of realized that I didn't really want to play professional anymore. I didn't want to do what it takes. I didn't want to, train as long as it needed to. I didn't want to hold, diet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it kind of answered itself, like in that time of waiting for a contract. It was more of like, what is my long-term goals here? Where do I see myself 5-10 years from now? And I just didn't see myself playing. And, I definitely wanted to stay around the game. And, I was just fortunate to be around great coaches like Coach Gomes, my dad, Coach Beeline, Coach Huggins. And, it just was kind of in me to be like, how can I give back to the game? How can I help people, have the experiences that I had as a player? And coaching was where I saw myself. And so it was a great opportunity for me to just start early. And I was very fortunate enough to get into coaching at 22 years old. And, it's obviously my purpose and a lot of my identity, and it's been great.
I know, like I said, it was probably, after those couple months training and everything, it was definitely an easy decision for you, to stay around the game and never, obviously you didn't lose your passion for playing, but you gained another passion in coaching, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about your dad, because I was grateful enough to have him for 7 great years as a coach. May he rest in peace. It was that was truly a blessing, because he's really been the foundation for where I am right now. You know what I mean? What I have a passion for is basketball, talking sports, talking anything. You know what I mean? Anything that has to do with sports, basketball. Yeah. Teaching the youth, anything like that. Staying around the culture. But so you started at Glenville. At Glenville State as an assistant right in 2011. In 2013, an assistant at Fairmont. When you started as an assistant, did you see any of like the young players? Like, did you see yourself in any of those young players when you started to coach?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely look at the game differently, and obviously, your patience changes.
Right.
Your expectations change. I felt like there was strengths and weaknesses to starting so early. I was able to relate to the players, and kind of understood where they were coming from, and I realized what communication worked and what didn't, because I just asked myself, like, would I do that as a player? But I think the weakness of it was, you tend to kind of think you know it all because you just got done playing. And,
right.
As important as basketball IQ is as a player, it's so much different as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I first got into it, like, my identity was in, like, I wanted to be like Hugs. I wanted to, coach the way he coached, and I wanted to hold people accountable the way he did. And, you think that everybody should be coached the way you were coached. And as you get older, everybody thinks you're better than what you really were. And so, after my first year of coaching, I really had to take a step back and, figure out who I wanted to be as Joe Mazzulla, the coach. And, I wasn't going to be Bob Huggins. I wasn't going to be Beeline or Coach Gomes like that. I had to be myself. And at the same time, you have to learn how to treat people differently, and, how to hold people accountable differently, and how to lead people differently. So it was a great learning experience. And, just each and every year, you get a little bit older, you get a little bit wiser, you get more experience, and you're able to just kind of grow and learn from it.
Who was your biggest influence for coaching?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really starts with the people that I played for. Like, even my AAU coaches, for the Breakers and BAC, and just the people that I've been around. Like, every single coach I had invested in me, cared, like, knew the game of basketball, was a good teacher. Like, I never played for a bad coach. And so I was very fortunate in that. And there's a long list of them. So it really started with them because, like, I wanted to give kids the same opportunity that I had. Like, I feel like if anyone has a good coach around them, they can achieve what they want, And so that's what I wanted to be. And then as you got into coaching, it was always I always wanted to learn from different people. So in my first couple of years, it was just like, learn from everybody. Don't try to be them, but take one thing from each person, that you can learn. And so, there's a coach at Baylor who's an assistant right now. Like, he's one of the most humble coaches I know. And he's a great teacher. And, like, Doc Rivers has great ATOs, and Steve Kerr is great at coaching the mental side of the game. And Brad Stevens has great X's and O's. So it was more about just, like, expanding your knowledge of learning, and then not trying to take too much, and just take a couple things from each person that you can mold into your own. Yeah,
like, of course, it starts, with your dad, Coach Dan. You know what I mean? Like, right from birth, right from training with him, it comes right from that. And that's awesome to see how many other people like him have influenced you, through your whole journey.
My dad, obviously, like,
right.
I think he was just naturally a coach, just as a person.
Oh, yeah.
And, either whether it was he was having the same conversations with me as he was having with you, as he was having with his coworkers, as he was having with his friends. Like, it all tailored around, like, work ethic, mindset, doing the right thing, and, like, accountability. And, so I think the biggest thing I learned from him was, like, there's no separation. If you're a coach in basketball, you're coaching your kids, you're coaching your home, you're coaching your work. Like, it's all the same, and you got to be the same person in all of that. And you got to learn how to, manage and get to know people and build relationships. So, like you said, like, the true foundation of it.
Exactly. At the end of the day, what you learn, you got to teach to somebody else. You know what I mean? That's how the world works. But so 3 years later after that, you were an assistant for the Celtics G League team. Did you see like a transition in play, like a difference in the play style from college, obviously going now to like semi-pro?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different game.
Right.
Just obviously the rules itself,
Mm.
the way it's taught, the way people are developed. The roles that people have are differently. And a lot of time in the G League or even in the NBA, you're getting guys, you're having them do things or fill a role that they didn't have to fill at their previous spot, whether it was high school, college, or G League. So, it's teaching guys the game, teaching them their identity, teaching them how they can be successful on the floor. And so it was a much different game. But from day one, I knew I wanted to coach professional. I think it takes, to me, a professional coach is one of the most well-rounded, leaders. And because it's one of the only professional coaching is like one of the only businesses where the head coach / boss / leader makes less than all the employees.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like that was eye-opening because like you really have to know how to lead. You have to know how to manage. You have to know how to communicate because all your employees make more than you. And you can't lead by fear or you can't lead by manipulation. You can't do some of the things in other areas where that type of leadership is acceptable or is, successful. And so it really tests your ability to do those things. And like that to me was one of the coolest parts about being in professional basketball is how can I develop as a leader and a manager of people, a manager of opportunity. And I think the second piece was like, there's a niche for these guys on building relationships. I think professional players, no matter what sport, get the wrong impression. People have the wrong impression of them because they only see one side. And at the end of the day, like building relationships and developing relationships with these guys is one of the most important jobs that you can have.
Right.
And there's a need for that. And so many people think, oh, you can't reach them. And it's the exact opposite. Like one of the best things about these guys is they want to be coached. They want to be led. They want to be held accountable. But you got to know what you're doing. You have to be competent. You have to be secure in who you are as a person to be able to do that. So those are the two biggest areas, what drew me to the professional game. And, I knew I wanted to do that as soon as I got into coaching.
So like I said, going back down to college at the college level from the G League, was that an easy decision for you? Or did you think you wanted to stick with the G League and, work your way up to the pros from there?
I mean, it was, I knew I had to do it, but I was scared to do it. Because, once you're in the G League, you don't want to leave, but faith and doing what God wants us to do has always been at the forefront for our family. So I felt like that was the best move for my family and my career. And if it meant relinquishing the opportunity to get back into the pros and it was what it was. But so from that department, I was scared, but I really was excited to be a head coach. And I was excited to take everything that I had learned. At that point, I had been an assistant in Division II for 4 or 5 years and then an assistant in the G League. So I was able to see both the college and the professional game. And, I wanted to mirror the two as a head coach. I didn't want to be a college coach. I didn't want to be a pro coach. I wanted to be somebody that could just mirror that, blend those two together and just create an environment of development, of relationship, of learning and getting better at basketball.
Right. Like you said, like your own coach. You can't be like somebody else. Like you want to be your own person. And obviously, that showed going into your first or your second year, leading Fairmont to a 22-9 record in 2019. But at the beginning of that season, you faced your brother, Justin, in an exhibition match against George Washington. What was that like going up against him, playing in front of your dad and just being in that kind of culture in that arena?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was great. It was just awesome. I'm grateful that, George Washington and Coach Christian were able to put that together. And it was just like, it's hard because you have so much going on. You're preparing for a game. It was a huge alumni base for us at Fairmont, just being, 2-3 hours away. So it was a lot, you got caught up in a lot, but there was a special moment where, Justin was checking in the game and I was standing right there. And, that was pretty cool. And then, having my dad there, my whole family, like everybody was there.
Right.
So it was a cool moment to be able to share in that, we lost. And was that my first year or my second year? I don't even remember.
Your second year. Yeah.
My second year?
Yeah.
So that was just an awesome experience.
How was your mindset during the season after that game?
It was the same. I mean, we started 0-2, so we weren't really doing that good of a job.
Right.
But it was the same. I mean, I think the hardest part in coaching is like not making it about you, right? So as much as that game had the storylines of me, my dad, and my brother. Like, it was more about our players and the opportunity they had to, play in a D1 environment, and the opportunity we had to build our brand as a school and as a basketball program. So there's so many different storylines, and you have to cherish those moments, but you also can't make it about you. So, immediately after the game, you move on to the next one. I think we had gone to a tournament in Missouri after that, maybe, which we didn't start the season well. We started 0-2, so my mindset just tries to stay the same all the time, to not get too high or too low, to just focus on what's most important and, execute.
And then obviously, coming down to the present now, you're an assistant with the Celtics after a great, tremendous run in the summer league 4-0. What was that like? How was that summer league, your first summer league being a head coach, 4-0? That's still, a great start to, becoming something even bigger than what it is now. So,
yeah, it was just like, it was cool. It was good timing. I had come off the interview for the job, and, whether I was getting it or not, it was an opportunity to get organized. It was an opportunity to showcase, what I thought was important as a coach and how you can make an organization better. And from the interview comes the opportunity to coach summer league. So now you're able to, put into life some of the things that you had put on paper, or some of the ideas that you had, talked about, as well as putting together what, Ime wanted as a coach. And that was really fun. And the coolest part about summer league was, like, I had knew all the guys. So I had been with them for 2 years. We had worked out together and just seen them grow. And, summer league's an opportunity for guys to, just, become the guy and work on things that they may not have an opportunity to during the season, or just, find their identity and build a better mindset. So, like, it was just cool from all those avenues, as far as making the interview come to life, taking everything I learned as a head coach the first time around, applying it to this 3-week window, and then really investing in these guys and just helping them become better. So it was an awesome summer, and I was grateful for the opportunity.
I know you coached a lot with Carson Edwards, Romeo Langford, and a player like Taco Fall. I know Taco Fall and Carson Edwards aren't with you guys anymore. But what was it like spending most of your time when you first started with them?
I mean, it's what I said earlier. Like, there's not much difference between levels, whether
Right.
you're in college or whether you're in the NBA, or whether you're in high school. It's, do you know who you are as a player? Do you know what it takes to be successful as a teammate, as an individual? And, where can you find competitive advantages for these guys and help them? So I enjoy working with young players that are coming into the game, because, they're trying to find out who they are. They're trying to find out how they can stick. And there's challenges to that. There's opportunities to that. And, the great thing is, all those guys that you mentioned are great people. They want to be coached, they want to be led, and it makes our job easier. But it's a fulfillment that when I came to the NBA, I wanted to prove to people that, these guys get a bad rep, and they're actually great people, and, they're fighting, to achieve their dream. And any way that I could help them get to that point, I'm willing to serve them and do. And that's been the best part.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to see guys that you truly, are attached to as players and as people, go and leave, because, at the end of the day, it's a business. But going back to the start of your Celtics career, how did that job opportunity come to you, and what was it like to hear from an NBA team, and what was the kind of offer that they gave you?
Yeah, so goes back to what we talked about, like, just the game coming full circle and relationships coming full circle. Brad was a coach in the Final Four, and one of their players on that team was a coach that I became friends with. He was a college coach at Northern Kentucky for a little while, and we were recruiting the same area, so we'd always run into each other. We build a relationship. He gets into the G League, and he helps me from there. And so, like, it literally came because of a relationship that struck because of being in the same place as somebody 15 years ago, or whatever it was. So that was really cool, and I was grateful that he gave back. And then, once I got to Maine, I left my wife and 2 kids back in West Virginia, and I kind of went by myself, and it was just like a 6-month. I looked at it as a 6-month interview. Like, you only got one chance. You're investing in yourself. Your wife and kids are giving you this opportunity. You got to bet on yourself. And fortunately, they were paying attention. And once I left and got head coaching experience, the Celtics came back and called, and I was just grateful that they gave me that opportunity in Maine. Because, like I said, that was kind of like my interview for that. And, when they called, I was actually kind of scared to leave. Like, when I became a head coach, I had like this 10-year plan. Like, I don't really like, I didn't want to be in Division I. Like, I didn't really care where I coached. I just wanted to be somewhere where I could make a difference and where there was alignment between like the community, school, my family. So Fairmont was like, I thought I was going to be there for 10 years and never thought I'd leave after 2. And, I would have had a different mindset and I would have approached things differently if I was trying to get out of there quick. So when I first got there, I was more just planting seeds, taking my time, trying to invest in as many things as I could because, I thought I was going to be there forever. And when the Celtics called a year and a half later, I was like taken back. And as much as I knew I needed to go, I kind of didn't want to because I didn't want to leave any unfinished business. But you learn about those things and you're not going to be able to, you're not going to achieve everything you want to achieve. You're not going to, be able to control everything. But if you could just leave the place better than you found it, if you can, they ended up winning the championship the year after. So I felt like I left it in a better place, and that's really all you can do.
Like you said, full circle, it comes right back around to you.
Yeah.
They were definitely looking at you again from Fairmont. So, like you said, full circle. That's awesome to hear. Getting a chance to work with all this young talent. Did any of these players now remind you of yourself and stand out in your perspective to like the work ethic you went through and all that kind of stuff playing back in West Virginia?
They're all better than I was. They all work harder than I did. It's not even close.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
people don't realize how hard these guys actually work,
Right.
Yeah, they don't, people have no idea. These guys give up, they make a lot of money, but, I always say like the brain doesn't know how much money you make. So like if I paid you $10 million tomorrow, you would complain about something a week later. Like the brain doesn't care about that stuff. So, the things that these guys go through and the way that they work and how hard they work, it's night and day.
That's why there's only 400 players in the NBA. Like
exactly
that worth ethic. Like people don't realize like it's a job. Like it's your full-time job. You have to put in that work in order to get paid. Because if you don't, the next day you could be cut and
everybody's coming for you. As soon as you
Exactly.
get the job, you now have a target on your back, and not only are you competing with the other, how many there are in the league, but there's 10,000 people that want your job, and so, and it's not like people are in the gym from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Like it's not like that, but just it's a different mindset. It becomes someone's craft. It becomes someone's job, and the mental approach that they take towards it. These guys don't get enough credit for how hard they work and what they give for it. The money's cool, but they give up their lives. They give up. This is a dream, and it's just cool to be a part of that. It's a blessing to be a part of that.
Hopefully one day I can be, a part of something like that, like, coaching wise, broadcasting wise, anything. That's my dream, to work with an NBA franchise in any kind of way I can. But like I said, going back to like the individual work with the players, like the style of practice is like, do you guys work in like individual groups? Like I said, like 3 players at a time or something like that? Or like you have a set amount of players that you watch and like, take notes on and take film on? Or is it just like kind of open to everybody?
It varies. Like during the summer, it's more one on or one and a couple coaches because you're trying to work on things that they may not have had a chance to work on during the season. Once the season starts, like in preseason, it's a lot of group work, 2-3 guys at a time, just working on different concepts. During the season, it's more maintenance, because of, the schedule and the load management. So, there's a time for 5-on-5 and some of it is 1-on-0. So it just kind of depends on the time of year. It's a little bit of everything. You work with, you tend to gravitate towards certain people just based on the relationships that you build with them. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, it just goes back to whatever it is that they need at that particular time. That's kind of what you're working on.
Like going back to a player like Kemba Walker, what was it like coaching him? Did you think that you played a great part in his style of play and his work ethic and his, mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have to coach him. He's a guy who's been in the NBA for 10 years.
Of course.
And he knows the game. He knows what he needs. He knows who he is. And really, like I said, it just goes back to that relationship piece. Everybody needs something different. And everyone needs just like a little something to help them get to where they want to go. The great players, they know what they need and what they need to do. They just need good people around them to help facilitate that, and I think that's what coaching is. It's not making it about you. It's not trying to be a hero. It's not trying to reinvent the game. It's just like, what way can I serve this guy? And, what need can I help fulfill that will help him get him to where he wants to go? And that looks different for everybody. And that's kind of what I learned my first couple of years of coaching is like coaching for each person looks different. Every person is going to need something different to help them get to where they want to go. And it's our job as coaches to recognize that and then like help grow that.
Right.
And that's a cool part of it.
When he first came, did you guys talk a lot about your playing days, like from UConn and West Virginia and battling up against each other?
A little bit.
Yeah.
He got the best of us one time. I got the best of him one time. He clearly got the best of the career. And
right.
But we joke about it. Like I said, like it was Brad was there, Wanamaker, and so we were always having just fun conversations about the good old days.
That's awesome. That's so eye-opening. Like it's so cool how you've been working with all these guys. So I'm a Knicks fan personally. I'm a huge Knicks fan. I know you got to work with obviously Kemba and Evan Fournier. What do you think that they can bring to the table for the Knicks in this upcoming season?
I'm not even going down that road. I'm not even going down.
Oh man. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. But Joe, like I said, I appreciate you so much coming on. It is it's a true blessing just to talk to you and pick your mind about your playing days, coaching days. Do you have anything else to say before we wrap it up?
No, I just appreciated being on, and we're all always can't forget where we come from. So I know where you're starting at, and everybody has been in the position that you're in, and it just takes faith, it takes trust, it takes patience. You got to bet on yourself, and I always respect people who are just trying to make it, and when they go about it the right way, and they're good people, it usually works out. So good luck, and I appreciate you mentioning my dad, and I'm glad that he was able to have the impact on you that you said he did, and that was his goal, and that was kind of his purpose. So appreciate that, and good luck in pursuing your dreams and what you want.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, like I said, without him, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. There's no doubting that. Again, like I said, thank you very much for coming on, and hopefully you can tune in. I'll have all my social media links up this Saturday coming.
Okay, cool.
I'll definitely be in touch, Joe. Thank you very much again. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode, my very first episode at Cam's Corner. I know I was a little nervous. I know I could have definitely asked a couple more questions, elaborate on more things. But that's what you guys are for. You guys are there to give your input. Tell me what I could do to improve. Tell me what I could do to add more to the show to make it even better. I did want to talk about more about Coach Dan. What role he played in my life to where I am now. I know I said that he's really the foundation of where I am today and what passions I have. He was more like a best friend to me, my teammates, my coworkers. My coworkers really were my teammates because he gave us all jobs when we were really young. He got us starting early at the Johnston Rec Center, and the rest is history. It goes back to basketball. Basketball is how it started. Trying out in 7th grade, not really knowing what it was all about, but if I didn't give it my best and I just gave up, I would not be in this position, like I said. So rest in peace to Coach Dan. I appreciate everything that you've done for me. I appreciate all the opportunities that you're giving me now. I know you're definitely looking down on us. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up everything, guys. Like I said, I'm very appreciative that you guys could all tune in to this first week's episode. Please stay tuned. Hit up all those social media links, like I said, at Cam's One Corner, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, Twitter, on YouTube, Cam's Corner, and www.camscorner.net for all the latest Cam's Corner content. Guys, I'll see you in the next episode. Again, thank you for tuning in.